brother, American is also director. And we also have the president of Nigerian Guild of Editors, Safa Issa. Then the president of the NUJ, Christopher, is also here. And of course, the Congo president. Let me not just waste your time by introducing everybody. I'm sure as done with this program, we'll know ourselves. Now, if you check your agenda, what we have there is first and foremost the introduction address or welcome address by the president of UPAN and MPU, Malak Abiru Yusuf. Please, can you welcome your members?
Thank you very much. Do I do it sitting down?
You can sit down, sir. So that
Because otherwise the camera will be in my stomach.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Well, some of the introduction has been done. What I have is a formal address of welcome, because I think this is a very important moment, I hope, in the life of the media in our country. Because after some trial and error, the Nigerian Press Organization, which, as you know, is the umbrella body of the owners, the editors, and the reporters of print and online media, is taking the responsibility of regulating its own work and conduct. As the saying goes, journalism is too important to be left to us journalists. So we have opted to bring in, to seek the help of our partners in civil society, to institute a mechanism of co-regulation. And you see that some of the members of this team are both from the media and non-media NGOs. We are here to inaugurate this body, which will be watching the watchdog. We gave it two names for emphasis: the Nigerian Media Complaints Commission and the Ombudsman. I think only time will tell which one will catch on with the public. Even though this is not an occasion for me to narrate the history of how we got here, I think a bit of background would help. All Nigerian governments, whether they are colonial, military, or civilian, have made and continue to make some effort to control the media, sometimes by stealth, sometimes openly. As you all know, radio and television are already regulated. Some would even say over-regulated. But print, which is the oldest, and online, which is the newest, have escaped such control. I think the former has been warned by the lessons of history to do this, and the latter by the amplitude of technology. Powerful and privileged Nigerians, irritated by the nosiness of the media, often express the wish that there should be some checks on its powers. I sometimes think that such people take freedom for granted because it is there. I guess it is not the daily concern of the citizen to worry about how the freedoms we enjoy were worn and kept. The press exists to guard such liberties. But in the land which Nigeria has become, our exertions merely annoy rather than hinder the powers that be. If this sounds like an attempt to sanctify the press, let me change gear. We have our own faults enough. Some journalists say how to prove is indeed a sword for slaying real and imaginary enemies. The Ombudsman will call such people to order to appreciate that the power of the press should be used for common good and not for self-aggrandizement. Effective, the physician himself before he can apply the cure to others. I think we have selected a strong team to administer this medicine. The 9-member commission will be chaired by Mr. Emeka Izeze, and I'd like him to stand up briefly so that most of us here know he was a former editor and managing director of The Guardian. He's one of our very best. We have selected other leading lights. I'm happy to say many of them are here. I can see Mala A.B. Mahmoud, who is a tall man. I hope he's on the way somewhere. He is the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. But we have Professor Stella Okuna. She just told me how to spell that name. I hope I got it right. Can you, Prof, also stand up? She is the Deputy Vice Chancellor for the University in Oman. We have Dr. Husseini Abdu, Country Director of International, among other NGO roles. I think most people know about Africa, which is the chair of the board also. Mr. Editor-in-Chief of Diamond Education, which try to inculcate in the media. Mrs. Eugenia Abu, veteran broadcaster and author. Mr. Editon, when I didn't quite recognize it. So it took a while. But I did recognize Mrs. Dupe Ajayi, but I haven't seen her for a while. She's a former editor and a lawyer. And we Committee on Information. I'm not sure he's here, but he's a member of this commission. There will come a day when he will join us. So, according to its mandate, the commission, and I'm quoting here from the mandate document, is to serve as an independent forum for resolving complaints about us quickly, fairly, and free of charge. Maintain high standards of Nigerian journalism and journalistic, and the freedom of the press. Notice that this is not just about us, it is about the society. So we invite all stakeholders in the Nigerian project to support this initiative. The media is wary of government because politicians tend to have goals. to submit clear regulation by collaborating with civil society, business, and the professionals. I would like to end our here with us. Members of the committee, especially the president of the association, the president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, the president of the Guild. I put online publisher, but I realized they put corporate publishers. So this is a distinction. Maureen is here. Thank you very much for joining us. And also members of our association. Mr. Kellis, member of the executive of our association. And all our colleagues and guests who are going to join us in this ceremony. I'd like you to permit me to single out a lady who is this, and this is Kadri. She's at home in both print and broadcast, as you know. But I'm singling her out because not only was she an active participant in the committee, but she did the bulk of the fundraising. And with this inauguration, I'm sure the is ahead. But I believe we have started something that is useful for the industry and good for our country. Thank you for listening.
So, would I invite the chairman of NMCC, Mr. Nekazeze, to respond?
I think I'm going to stand up because Uncle Sam is here. Malan Kabir is my president. The president. A president is a president is a president. You okay? Yeah, because I think I should start. Don't worry whether you will hear me. I'll try and speak loud enough. But our dear boss, Uncle Sam, and I've been making apologies, dual apologies. I haven't seen him for a little while, but I've been thinking of him so much lately and talking about him elsewhere. So I'm not going anywhere. One day we traveled to Cameroon, and I was privileged to be talking with Uncle Sam. We were going to Yaoundé years back, and we got into a rather unpleasant flight, very bad. I mean, but I was thinking that Uncle Sam would be frightened by those things, but they were just calm there. So when the flight landed in Yaoundé, he said to me, so after a flight like this, you need a good lunch and a good sleep. That is Uncle Sam's attitude to life, even the most dangerous of situations. So we just love you. That's the only way, the only word to use. And it doesn't change. You see him one day, you're going to see him another day, the same Uncle Sam. And the president is a coup plotter, but I will leave that for another day. And he admitted this to me himself. You know, when the president admits that he was just plotting a coup, and you know that this is a very serious matter. It's a president my colleague. Something of not a poison chalice, but
What potato?
maybe. And because I think we have fought for so long to keep the media unaffected by the shenanigans of those who are government at one time or the other in the country. And like you said, we were not around at the colonial era, we were not around in the First Republic, we were not around at the beginning of the military, but people like Uncle Sam were around, and we made a military midstream. And since then to now, we've discovered that there is a certain distaste for the media, and so people always look for how to keep the media in check. What has happened lately is that we haven't also been very amenable ourselves to keeping ourselves in check. That's why I said he's handing us something that a hot potato in his words and like poison chalice. We're going to be checking our colleagues. We're going to be doing what all our life we have sat down and we say nobody should check us. That's how we operated. Now we're going to be checking people who are doing the same job. Don't even get to the point whether they're doing it well or not. It's not the most pleasant of assignments to do. And I don't know why we keep getting involved in this. When the original press council was done by Prince Tony Momo of blessed memory, vintage editor, tough man. And then the press, with Uncle Sam at the forefront of it and others, just refused that this thing, we can't do it. We can't implement this under a military regime. And that law literally died an unnatural death. Then, and this was done under the administration of
Recording stopped.
This was done under the administration of head of state Muhammadu Buhari. So power changed hands in August of 1985, and Babangida became head of state, and then Prince Momo naturally was no longer minister, but Professor Onyenware became Minister of Information. And Professor Onyenware said, after settling down, that this thing has been unstable. You people don't want to implement it, that the president directed him to say to the press, give us the kind of law that you will operate and implement. And Uncle Sam will remember vividly. They summoned us. I was Secretary General of the Guild of Editors, then I was editor. And we went to the home of the president of the NPA, Bashir MKO Abiola in Ikeja. And there, they singled out 5 of us and said, take this decree, draft it, because now it was a draft decree, although signed by Buhari, was never implemented for 1 day. And they couldn't arrest everybody in the press because that would be terrible. So even they were cowed by the press at that time. And then this MKO said, go up. We, Uncle Sam, his colleagues, MKO, they sat down and I think they were eating and drinking and doing all that. But we were suffering upstairs in MKO's bedroom. Drafting, 5 of us, drafting a fresh media council decree, draft decree. When we brought it back, they read it in the sitting room downstairs. And I remember again what MKO said. He said, well, the bulk of us sitting around here are not journalists. But you people are the journalists. This decree you have drafted, are you sure that you can implement it as journalists? You may have a genial head of state now. Supposing a worse person came along How were you going to operate? Now, we didn't know that somebody actually was and Babangida was going to come around, and he did come around. But it was so prophetic. So we looked at ourselves. These are the owners of the media. You know, there are those you call the owners of Nigeria today. And these are literally speaking the owners of the media. And they're telling us that this decree is not strong enough, or that we're pandering towards the government more. So we went up to the same bedroom. And they sat down there, they didn't go. So it wasn't a matter of do it next tomorrow or do it another day. We went back to MKO's personal bedroom and we started writing again. And we finished, brought it down. All of them read it. Uncle Sam will bear witness to that. When they said, this looks acceptable, MKO said, okay, if this is approved, his colleagues and himself, they approved it. We were already tired, very tired. We didn't have a say in that, whether it was good or bad. He said it's acceptable to all of them. He is going to take it to Babangida, and he took it to him. That draft was promulgated in the Nigerian Press Council decree, verbatim, not a word removed. It was drafted by the media. The point I'm making is that efforts have been made in the past to do what the MPAN is trying for us to do now. It didn't succeed then because, pardon, even if I'm the one saying it, journalists are the most unruly people. You don't want anybody to control them. You don't like control. And that's true. That's the only way we could have done what we do on a daily basis. We believe that we're the best, we know everything, and these people are just trying to stop us from doing our work. So that era passed. When a few years later I saw some people trying to say that this decree is not hard enough, we're going to strengthen, and these are not government people, unless they are working with the government people privately. And they're going to draft a new decree, and they're going to make it so that journalists can be taken. If any journalist is found guilty of this, he will be sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. He said, but there is already a criminal code. There's a law on libel. All kinds of media laws exist. Why do you need a special one for the journalist? But there were journalists that wanted to get it out. That also didn't succeed because people opposed it, knowing that it won't stand. I think that this time, with the hindsight of experience and tempered by age, and there are things now that you will permit that you didn't permit before. Still, our responsibility, primarily from what I have read and what I have been told and what has been written, is not to come and gag the press. We will not do that. Otherwise, we might as well just tell the whole world that all the years we spent on this particular job, that's the only job most of us have ever done in our lives. You never worked in government. You never thought, you are not a teacher. You never went to do anything else. You just kept doing this job from beginning to the end. We would then be saying that we just wasted our life on it. But we think that we have to be fair to ourselves. We haven't always done the right things. And so when the public is complaining, instead of waiting for the people who don't understand what this job entails to begin to put us down and to insist on doing it their own way for their own selfish reasons, you will accept that an initiative such as this by the MPO, the MPAN, the Guild, the NUJ, and I'm not sure that Bond is part of it. Is Bond? No.
Except we have Eugenia.
Yeah.
We're quoting
but at least we have MPO, and the initiative is something that is worth giving a shot. That's the only way we can keep our profession sane, keep our profession free of restrictions such as people in government always want to bring upon the president. It's just universal for them. Anywhere in the world, the American president, the previous one, he spent all his 4 years fighting media in America. If you were a Nigerian president, you would do exactly the same thing. And people don't like the dirty stories being told in the public glare. And there are just too many dirty stories that have to be told, particularly with regard to our environment, to make progress. But our job, let me restate, is not to gag the press. We will not do that. And that's not what they have asked us to do here. Our job is to give the public a channel for seeking redress and knowing that that will be enforced one way or another. I think that because the NPO members have bought into this project, there's not going to be anyone who will say, no, we're not going to accept the kind of recommendations you are making to us. So it's a privilege, Mr. President, Uncle Sam, for us to be called. These gentlemen, and I hesitate to say gentlemen and ladies, but because it's very gender sensitive these days, I would say gentlemen and ladies. Otherwise, it's gentlemen of the press. And even more gentlemen of the press. Lady Dupsy, who may be a barrister now, but she was originally an editor, and that's what matters. That's where barrister came second. Yeah, she became a journalist and editor of repute before pursuing law. And so when you look at her now, don't look at her as just a barrister, because I'm sure that she's even more hard-nosed than some of the people who do things now, especially the job she did before. And that's another issue, sir. Many of our young colleagues don't know the people who have gone ahead, and many of them are still active and around. Thank you very much for the confidence. I assure you that with my colleagues here, we will attempt to do justice to your expectation and see how far we can go to help the media to operate professionally, to help the media to observe some of those rules that we drew up ourselves, and to help the media to be what this nation needs. We cannot make progress in this nation without the media operating professionally. It's not possible. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I think what we need to do now is to go outside and have a group photograph. Then thereafter, the committee will wait behind maybe for their first session today. Thank you very much. So we can go outside and have a group photograph. This space.
I think it's only fair.
It is fair.
Allow
Somebody may have a question. Somebody. Kabir doesn't like talking to the press. So, they will pass it to KK, and then we'll ask KK.
All questions answered.
but still.
So please, can we have one house, please? Have one house, please. So if there are questions, there are comments from members, please bring us. Then thereafter, know, the committee will be formally inaugurated by Uncle Sam. Please.
That's right.
Any question, please? From journalists, from
What that I think that should be that formal thing.
If you have for comment,
No, no, but
want to accept or you want to reject your part.
no questions.
No question.
Comments. No comments. Are you sure? Prof. Prof seems to be.
Any question?
Oh, okay.
So, the chairman will now invite Uncle Sam to formally inaugurate the committee.
He's so invited. I don't need to.
Yes.
Need a bell.
You have a pen?
All right, start knocking on this thing.
Nobody. No panning up. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, a great pleasure that
The committee member can stand up, please. They can stand up.
which one will wait? Let me take it. What we are seeing here is what some of us have spent our life, our whole life, trying to produce to save ourselves from government control. The chairman of this committee spoke well about the ups and downs that we went to resist government control. I wish Lai Mohammed were here. There was no precedent in Aso Rock that we have not gone to see. Everyone that had authority believed that he had one enemy. That enemy was the media. Because in Nigeria and Africa particularly, if you have power, you can do whatever you like. You can enslave the citizens. But this is what the media stood for. I recall my friend, his soul rest in peace, Ismaila. And what he did, because he had connection, he led us to see these fellows. And all we have done in our life is that nobody in power will control the media. So what we are doing here today is the benefits that we have inherited. I am glad to see this day, to see you people. And the committee, you are ombudsmen. Call yourself whatever name. That is people will write and complain. It is your job to look at their cases and then call the media. We are your members and we are here. I'm glad for this opportunity. The fellow that has just come in, I'm glad to see him. Nduka, chairman of the employees. You know what it is. It gives us great pleasure to see this committee inaugurated.
You are welcome. Okay. So you about inaugurate.
You finish, my friend.
What? On behalf of Uncle Sam, we hereby formally inaugurate. What is swear?
No, we are not
What is
traditional.
the legal?
It's been inaugurated.
Yes. We do it media way.
Yeah, we a lot of apologies in inauguration. We can't do government
Can every member make a pledge
We
to
can't do
accept?
government way.
At least that interaction.
Yes.
Starting with you.
Yeah. I, Mecca Izezi, hereby make a pledge to serve on this panel and to the best of my ability and the best of the experience I've gathered on this job. Thank you.
I say it at once.
I say pledge to serve on this committee to the best of my ability. I, Editor Ujo, accept the assignment given to me and pledge to serve on the commission to the best of my ability.
I declare you that you know. I pledge to serve the committee best of my ability and put on my 41 years experience as an editor.
I, Larry, do solemnly declare that I will serve the National Media Complaints Commission, otherwise Ombudsman, of our country, Nigeria, and our profession uppermost in my heart. So help me God.
I, Julian Stella, pledge to serve the delegates of this committee, the good of society, and our constituency in India. I, Julian, pledge to diligently serve the National Media Complaints Commission to the best of my ability for the good of humanity, so help me God.
So can I go outside for the group photograph, please?